I always take a shower after I fap. Otherwise, I feel like a dirty little gremlin. So, when I wake up that morning, I remember, wait, but I fapped last night, in bed, before sleeping. So I've still got that fap energy in me. So I have to take a shower. But, before I take the shower, I should fap one more time, to get the most out of it. I'm already at 0, no fap. And so I fap. First thing in the morning. I reach for my phone, scroll through Twitter, find something within a few seconds. It's probably the very first post. And then I fap in bed. And I might even fap another time before going to take the shower. I go to the bathroom, I'm in the bathroom, I fap again before taking the shower. Maybe I fap in the shower too. This is a bit exaggerated. I don't think I've ever done it 4 times before taking a shower, but it's not very exaggerated. 2 or 3 was not unheard of. You get the idea. I did this despite all the negative health benefits. I literally felt my prostate stinging every time I orgasmed. My balls were in like perpetual sore pain, and yet I still continued doing it because I couldn't stop. A few months ago, most recently, so the way I fapped was I would quite frankly, I would dry hump the bed. And I'd do it you have to be face down to do that. And I had this thing in my arms, like nerve damage, that I'm currently going to physical therapy to see. And all the physical therapy I do, like all the stretches, they're good. They definitely diminish my symptoms, but when I'm lying pressed down against the bed, it presses against my shoulders and activates the tingling feeling. So fapping for me also makes my arms worse. Do you think I stopped? I've been fapping since I was in middle school, so I've been upgrading this ability for over 10 years now. This is how you know it's an addiction, when there's clear physical consequences and you still don't stop. I still didn't stop. Fast forward to today and yesterday, and a few days before that, I woke up and I didn't fap. I got out of bed. For the first, my arms, I don't feel immediate nerve pain in my arm after waking up. And then when I went to physical therapy today, the therapist was like, oh, okay, your arm has a bigger range of motion now. Good, we're making progress. Yes, thank you, finally. So how did I get here? How did I fight against a habit that I've been leveling up for over 10 years? That's what I'm going to show you. It's actually very simple. So first I'll just tell you that you think you're fapping because you're horny. You're actually not. So there's this study. So I remember one time when I was online, I saw someone an asexual person ask regular people what horniness felt like because they've never felt it, and they described it in a way that I didn't understand. They said it felt like a burning sensation in your genitals, like an unbearable sensation. Maybe that wasn't exactly how they described it, but that's how I remember it. And I remember I'm sitting there thinking, that's not how I feel it at all. And I talked about this with my friends on a Discord video chat later that night. I was like, hey, yeah, so they described horniness this way, and I don't feel that at all. And they were like, what? You've never been horny? And I'm like, I fap 5 times a day. How have I never been horny? And I later saw with some studies, I've never been horny. I started fapping before I hit puberty, or right about. And it turns out that there's actually, imagine 2 circles, a Venn diagram. There's one of them is people who have a high libido, the other is people who are addicted to adult content. There's very little overlap. If you are addicted to adult content, it actually lowers your libido, your sex drive. Anyone who faps 3 to 5 times a day knows this. You're not even doing it when you're horny now. You're just doing it as a stress response to any little minor stress you feel. I remember when I was in high school, when I was working on an assignment, the night before it was due in the AM, I would literally fap 3 times, maybe 5 times in one night, because I was extremely stressed out and I couldn't handle it. And I realized that this is exactly what I was doing. I would wake up And immediately I would feel stress because I didn't wake up at the time I wanted to wake up. I didn't have energy because I didn't get 8 hours of sleep, and I would immediately run into the arms of instant gratification. So, the best thing I can recommend for you for NoFap is set a schedule for your day. That way you actually go to bed on time. Go to bed, set aside 9 hours for bed so that you actually get 8 hours of sleep. Wake up, and immediately upon waking up, do the hardest thing that you're avoiding. Like the one thing that, imagine you can only do one thing that day, and if you go to bed only doing that one thing, you'd be happy. Do that. The hardest thing that your brain will put up the most resistance to. For me, it's recording videos. Do that first thing in the morning. When I do record videos first thing in the morning, my urge to fap is practically zero throughout the rest of the day. Almost nil. When I wake up well rested from 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep, and my clothes are laid out, and I have a plan to go down and record videos immediately, like, my urge to fap is almost non-existent. I wouldn't say it's like completely gone, but I get up, I record, and I do it. And then the rest of the day is smooth sailing, because for me, the only strong urge is really like at the beginning of the day. And when I'm right about to like record. That's how you know. That's how you know recording is the task you need to do. That's how you know you're doing the right thing. When the stress response is there and you feel the urge to fap. I literally, when I was recording out in a nature preserve or a hiking trail like a few days ago, I literally felt the urge to fap right there in the hiking trail as I was getting ready to record the video. Of course I didn't, but I literally felt the urge. That's how you know this is the task to do. So set a schedule, set aside time for sleep, stick to it, and do the hardest thing first thing in the morning. And just those 3 things, really 2 things, because the schedule and sleep are the same thing, will immensely decrease your fapping urges. Now, you shouldn't feel too hard on yourself. You are doing something really, really hard. You are doing something most people struggle with. You are literally getting up out of bed and doing the hardest thing first thing in the morning. This is no small task. Like, you should feel Herculean for this. You deserve to be put alongside a constellation up there, right alongside Hercules. I'm pretty sure Hercules is a constellation. It's not Herculean because it's hard, it's Herculean because of how few people do it. How there's not that many people who do this, so you should feel good for it. I want you to imagine a future where you have blown away everyone. Everyone's impressed by you. Your competition has been blown away. Women are giving you attention. Your parents respect you. Your friends are like actually actively talking to you, like seeking conversation with you because, you know, they want to level up being alongside you. You're high value. But those are all external things. They don't really matter. I just have to say those things to grab your attention because people have been trained to look after external things. But really, the greatest reward is the change that happened within you. The single greatest reward is that now you are a person who doesn't feel the urge to give in to instant gratification, especially not fapping, because you wake up and do the hardest thing first thing in the morning. You can't even remember the last time you got an indecent fantasy in your head. You can't even remember the last time you fapped. You're sitting there with your loving girlfriend. You've built a wonderful life together, all because of the discipline and willpower you gained. And even if she leaves you, you're a man who will find another. You are a man who will continue in his steadfastness because your discipline is the greatest asset you gain from this. If you want more immediately practical advice instead of those entertainment videos that don't change anything, and you can't relate to all those macho red pill guys who don't understand you, hit the subscribe button. We're all gonna make it, boys. Ciao.